Everybody on. What's up, guys? Wednesday night. We've had a good week. Appreciate Navy and Mimi stepping up and leading yesterday. And tonight we're going to turn it over to Jackson. We're going to kind of work this together. But Jackson saw a video and wanted to share some insights and thoughts and motivation from and takeaways from the video that he saw, and has direct application to what he has coming up, but also just the mentality and the mindset that we're all chasing by being on these calls as well. So I'm going to, Jackson, did you text me that timestamp?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm going to let Jackson kind of set the stage for you guys, and then we'll get going into it.
All right. So I wrestle. That's like kind of my main sport. So as most like sports fans do for their sport, you kind of go down a rabbit hole of like researching different like sporting events or whatever that happen. So I landed on this one. It's two guys, Jordan Burroughs and Kyle Dake. They're like two of the best ever to do it. And for they kind of went against each other for about 10 years. And the Burroughs guy came out on top 9 of those times, and Dake came out on top once. And I think that this is like a living story of like you may lose 9 times out of 10, but that leaves one where you can win. So you kind of just got to bring it all every time.
You never know. A story of persistence,
Exactly.
grit, attitude, determination. 9 times. Crazy. Okay, do you want me to cue up the video? Hold on, Brian. Stand right there for a second. Okay, let me get this going.
No. Nope. You can't get off on you. Go over there. Yeah.
Hold on, Brian. I'm going to take you back 1 second.
1 second.
Okay, share the sound. Go to 755. 1 second, guys.
Means you have to be the best in America, not just in college, but of everyone. And so in 2013, he's in a loaded weight class with a guy like Andrew Howe, David Taylor, the Paulsons, a lot of really good guys, John Reeder. And waiting at the end is the pound for pound #1 wrestler in the world, Jordan Burroughs. So Kyle Dake runs the gauntlet in the world team trials and makes it to Jordan Burroughs. And this was the beginning of another rivalry in the sport of wrestling, and fan rivalry too, where you had Team Dake, Team Burroughs, and Team Dake thought that Kyle could upset Jordan Burroughs, who had never lost in his senior level career at that point in time. And then you had the Jordan Burroughs fans say, this is the pound for pound #1 guy in the world. He's the Olympic champion. He's a 2-time world champion already. He's going to win. Well, they come out. Kyle Dake gets smoked in match #1. And then match #2, already you're seeing Kyle's ability to make adjustments, even in a span of a couple hours. And he loses very narrowly in overtime to Jordan Burroughs. Overtime's not really a thing in freestyle wrestling. USA Wrestling kind of invented it for this tournament, and they eventually got rid of it. But it was still a statement that Kyle Dake's, he's here, right? But then we enter a phase of Kyle Dake's career that would be sort of a theme off and on for a number of years, and that was injuries. Injuries would begin to plague Kyle Dake, and in 2014, he was not able to even attempt to make the world team because he was out all year long with an injury. He comes back in 2015. He once again makes it to the World Team Trials finals against Jordan Burroughs, and he once again loses. Now, this is a point in time where Kyle Dake begins to make known he's not really pleased.
Jackson.
All right. So basically what's going on here is he has this guy, Kyle Dake, who's kind of our main character here, is battling through injury, and he kind of has to be the underdog over and over and over again. And he's not getting his way. He's starting to get frustrated. But what we're about to see is he just puts his head down and keeps going through it. And yeah.
Anyway. Okay, moving on to the next section. Here we go.
Right? So he makes it to the finals again. He loses to Jordan Burroughs again. And so he's faced with a decision in 2015, because Jordan would go on to win Worlds again, which what that does is if you are a world medalist, you get to sit out of the challenge tournament. You just are automatically in the finals. And so Kyle Dake did not want to that year enter that competition in 2016, the Olympic year, knowing that Jordan Burroughs is going to sit out fresh. So he makes another bold decision to go up to 86 kilograms, which is 189 pounds. Now, Kyle Dake is not 189 pounds. I don't think he was ever 180 pounds. He gets into maybe the mid-70s, was sort of speculated. He never said it because Kyle Dake's a guy that really doesn't make excuses. He didn't want to say, oh, I'm really small, feel sorry for me. He didn't bring that up. But the reality is you can look at him, and then you look at his competition, Jaden Cox, who wrestled at 197 pounds. Jaden actually wrestled some matches at heavyweight. So he goes from 197 down to 189. Kyle Dake's from 163 up to 189. Major size advantage for Jaden, for the Richard Perrys, all these guys. But Kyle Dake takes it all in stride, and he makes it to the Olympic trials finals, being massively outweighed, and he hits Jaden Cox. And these two have a very, very close match, and Jaden is already a multiple NCAA champion for the University of Missouri. And those two wrestle, and Kyle Dake actually takes a match from Jaden Cox, but Jaden wins the 2 out of 3. He is on the Olympic team and winds up winning an Olympic medal. Jaden Cox does. And once again, Kyle Dake is on the outside looking in of the world and Olympic team. So this guy who has just had this amazing, incredible, unmatchable, I'm saying, college wrestling career is on the outside of the world and Olympic team every year since he's graduated. So from 2013 to 2016, he doesn't make it. Jordan Burroughs in 2016 at the Olympic Games does not medal. So that means the playing field is once again level, and Kyle Dake says, all right, I'm going back down to 74 kilograms. So the two wrestle at the US Open, and Jordan Burroughs beats him super narrowly, controversially. Kyle Dake once again has to run through the entire challenge tournament while Jordan Burroughs is sitting out in the 2017 World Team Trials. And once again, Kyle Dake runs the initial gauntlet. And then he takes match number 1 from Jordan Burroughs. He hits a big 4, and Jordan Burroughs loses by criteria. In freestyle wrestling, you can have the same score, and there's always a winner. Always someone is winning in freestyle wrestling. So Kyle Dake wins match 1 by criteria, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. And then he's got a lead in match 2. He's right there to make the team. And then Jordan Burroughs runs him down. He wins match 2, and he wins match 3 kind of dominantly. And once again, Kyle Dake, one of the greatest ever, is not going to be on the world team. And he begins to deal with more and more injuries, and they start to plague him. But then United World Wrestling in 2018 announced non-Olympic weights, which created more weight classes for the World Championships. And Kyle Dake went up to 79 kilograms, or 174 pounds. So he makes his first world team in 2018. At Final X, he beats Zahid Valencia, I believe, now that I'm thinking about it, to make his first world team. And then he goes on, and that is a huge moment, a huge accomplishment for Kyle to finally, get it done and make that world team. Gets kind of the monkey off his back for being great for so long and not able to make a world team. He does it. He beats Zahid Valencia. And then he goes and he does what everyone said he would probably do if he ever got his opportunity. He wins a world title. So Kyle Dake goes and he wins a world championship in 2018. 2019, more injuries. He has a bad knee injury. He kind of gets run into by one of the wrestlers in the wrestling room, and he has to delay his wrestle off with Alex Daringer. And he gets delayed and pushed, and then he wrestles Daringer, ironically, right up the road in Round Rock, Texas, and they have a 2 out of 3, and Kyle Dake wins there, and then he goes and wins another world title in 2019. Now he's up at 79 kilograms. And so the next year, 2020, is going to be the Olympic year. We all know what happened then. 2020, world gets shut down, Olympics get pushed a year. So now you have Jordan Burroughs is a world medalist in 2019, which means he's sitting out to the Olympic trials finals at 74 kilograms. Kyle Dake makes the decision once again to descend down to 74. And he's got his eyes on Jordan Burroughs, and he's got his eyes on his first ever Olympic team. And so he comes out, Kyle Dake, and he does what we've seen him do routinely. He wins the entire challenge tournament. He beats Jason Nolf. He beats a number of elite wrestlers. And then the showdown is set up with Jordan Burroughs. And finally, Kyle Dake gets over the hump against Jordan Burroughs. His rival since 2015, or 2013, excuse me. He finally knocks him off in 2021 to make the Olympic team. Kyle Dake makes the Olympic team. He goes to Tokyo. He brings home a bronze medal, but he suffered what at the time was a huge upset to Kadi Magomedov of Belarus. Kyle Dake actually got teched, which is something we had never really seen before. It happened maybe once. I think Jordan teched him in 2013.
All right, so the lesson here is he was struggling. He was at rock bottom, and then he took advantage of his opportunities, which happens in every sport. Someone gets hurt, there's an opening spot, you can take it, and you kind of got to take it and run, and that's exactly what he did. He went and won, was the best wrestler in the world at his weight, and then he went back down to where he kept losing, and he said, I'm going to give it one more shot. And that was the time that he won, and that was his 1 out of 10 moment.
I love it. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Jackson, but you think going back to the Tyler Batty interview and Drake's vision, was he all in, or was he kind of half in, half out on who he was and what he wanted to do?
Well, that's a great question, because there was times in his career, like when he was struggling with injury or kind of getting sick and tired of losing, where you can see that he was worse. And then right after that, he'd get right back into it, and he was the best he could be. Like he let this suffering of not getting what he wanted motivate him, just like Tyler did when he wasn't getting those calls that he was hoping to get. And then once he started getting them, he just never looked back and ran with it.
100%. And then the end product, where is he now? So that was in 2020, 2021. Do you know what he's doing now? Is he coaching something? Is he still wrestling?
He's still in the sport. He's kind of the face of United States wrestling now. But it only took him 10 years to get there.
Talk about persistence and dedication, right? Far beyond junior high, high school, and beyond, taking that vision and what he believed he could accomplish. And with, like you were saying, did self-doubt creep into his thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how could it not? All those injuries and all those defeats against Barros, and maybe believing, I don't know if I'll ever beat this guy, but I got to keep training, right? I got to keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I loved it. Awesome video. Great takeaways from that. Thank you, Jackson, for stepping up and sharing that with us, with the group. And I think all of that's valuable. If you guys got some time, write some of that stuff down in your journal, and we will finish this thing off tomorrow night, Thursday night. Hey, I invited everybody's parents to join us tomorrow night at 8:45, kind of inform them what this last month was about, tell them what this next month is about, and give a little bit of, and then allow them to ask some questions too, kind of going forward. So it should be everybody on tomorrow night, 8:45. We'll end the week out. So appreciate